You can have a seat. Hey, good morning, church fam. How we doing? Doing great? Fantastic? Okay, good. Fantastic. Hey, my name's Ian. If we haven't met, I think I've met just about everyone, so we're good. All right, fantastic. Hey, was I the only one that got the memo? I thought this was Dress Up Sunday, right? Come on. No? Okay. Well, anyway, I'm happy to be here. If you've noticed, and if you know me, you've noticed that my family is not here. That's a little bit of a bummer. Everybody's sick, really super sick. So I'm just going to break from what I'm about to say and look into the camera and say, hi, guys. I love you. Okay. Because that's really who I'm about. All my world is around those guys. So definitely have to shout them out. If you could, pray for my family, because it's 1 week to Christmas, and literally everyone is falling sick. So there's that. But we're in the thick of that type of season, aren't we? We're in the thick of winter, where we should expect to be sick. Sickness is rolling around. But more importantly, we're in the thick of the Christmas season, are we not? The Christmas season brings us joy. It brings us stress. It brings us anxiety. Why? Because it's easy to get overwhelmed during this time of year, right? We feel the end is nigh, so to speak. The end of the year is quickly approaching. Gift requests are increasing. I don't know about you, but my work seems to be at an all-time high as far as requests. So now I've got both home and work piling up all at the same time, all putting pressure on me. And it's really easy for me to be overwhelmed. Maybe that's you today. It's easy for me to lose focus, feel overburdened by all these things that are happening around me. And ultimately, I want to try and make, and this is a piece from me last week, so I want to try and make memories with my children. I'm sure all of you do as well, those ones that are close to you. And so when you're in the middle of anxiety and stress and all those things that are happening, sometimes in the middle of the season, you just kind of go through the motions, don't you? You're like, I'm going to do the lights, it's fine. And it's tense. Because you're trying to make those memories, you're trying to do the thing, you go through the motions, don't we? To a certain extent. Fake it till you make it. That's what they always say, right? But Ian, how could we not just hold on and go through the motions? It feels like life is accelerating rapidly without a break. We've lost all communication with our driving force. The train is out of control, careening faster and faster. There's a feeling of dread that things are outside of our personal control. That we're totally exposed. And ultimately, we're on a roller coaster of life. Maybe that's your life right now. Maybe in the thick of this Christmas season, you feel like you're holding on for your dear life. You're faking it till you make it. And I think that ultimately, if we're honest with ourselves, that we'd give anything to take the situation under our control and get the train right back on the tracks. But I think going through the motions, we disconnect. We separate ourselves from the belief, even for just a little bit. We forget who we are and why we are. So often that I hear people say during this season, I don't feel real jolly. I don't feel like Christmas is actually happening because life is out of control. absolutely out of my control right now. How can I feel jolly? How can I feel connected? How can I feel all these things when things are skidding around on the ice and completely out of control? When all these other factors are crashing down around me? Sound familiar? Maybe it does. Here's where I want us to land today. Your beliefs and your focus matter every day, honestly. But they certainly matter this time of year. In this series, we've looked at Charlie Brown and It's a Wonderful Life. And surprise, today we're going to look at the Polar Express and an example of a story out of the book of Matthew that I think is really applicable. But first, obviously I skipped ahead in the movie for various reasons, but I want to rewind a little bit and start from the beginning. Can I? Is that okay? All right, cool. How many have seen the Polar Express? Okay, so this movie is not necessarily new. I will do as much dialogue about the plot of the movie as it aligns to kind of where I'm going today, but I'm not going to show you the whole movie. Boo. Dang it. Boo. Our hero boy, as it's known, he doesn't have a name, by the way. I looked it up. He doesn't have a name. It just says hero boy the entire time. But our lead character, our hero boy, so to speak, doesn't believe in Santa. Okay? All around him is evidence saying that he isn't real. Santa's on strike. Santa's being exposed. He looks at the North Pole. It's devoid, barren of life. How could anything actually exist in the North Pole? The world is really good at aligning with the notion that reality is purely based on the things that you can see. Is it not? What do I mean? Well, gravity is real, is it not? The pen fell, therefore gravity is real, right? This chair's real. I can feel it. When I sit on it, I don't hit the floor, so this chair is real, right? Our paychecks, those of you that get some, they're real. We see them hit our bank account every month, every week, whatever it is for you. Our houses are real. We walk into them every single day. I can touch and feel all the things, right? Our beliefs are often evidentially based on what is clearly tangible to us, what is in front of us, testable. But God, we can't see him. He doesn't pop by for a morning coffee and a chit-chat, does he? It's easy to look at the world and see nothing but war, personal suffering and pain, experience that, and go, you know what? I doubt that God would let this exist. There's no way that if God is who we say he is, there's no way that he would allow this to happen. That's easy for us. Come on, Ian, that's not me. That's not me at all. I go to church, I read the Bible, I pray, I do all the things, right? I'm super religious. Only people that don't know God doubt him and his impacts on this world. Oh, really? Okay. Let's dig in just a touch right there. If you have your Bible, I want you to open up to Matthew chapter 14. We're going to go 22 to 33, I believe, is where I want to be. And as you guys are turning over there, I'm going to set this up just a touch. Okay, so if you got a paper Bible like me, you'll probably look upwards and from this section is called Jesus Walks on the Water. You know the story, maybe, possibly? Okay, anyway, we're going to revisit. Right before this, Jesus just fed 5,000. I mean, immediately before this. In fact, the first word in verse 22 is immediately. Okay? So backtrack just a sec. And think about this. Jesus just took 5 loaves and 2 fish and fed more than 5,000 people. And oh, by the way, all in a day's work, because he was also healing people all the way, right? He was just healing people, making miracles, doing all the things. And his disciples are right there with him, right? You know who I'm talking about. Matt, Mark, Luke, John, Peter, the super religious dudes. You know who I'm talking about, right? We would consider them super religious, but they're right there in the mix of all of this. So it starts off in verse 22. It says, immediately Jesus made the disciples get into the boat and go ahead of him to the other side, while he dismissed the crowd. After he had dismissed them, he went up on a mountainside by himself to pray. When evening came, he was there alone, but the boat was already a considerable distance from land, buffeted by the waves because the wind was against it. During the 4th watch of the night, Jesus went out to them, walking on the lake. When the disciples saw him walking on the lake, they were terrified. "It's a ghost," they said, and cried out in fear. But Jesus immediately said to them, "Take courage, it is I. Don't be afraid." "Lord, if it's you," Peter replied, "tell me to come to you on the water." "Come," he said. Then Peter got down out of the boat and walked on the water and came towards Jesus. But when he saw the wind, he was afraid and he began to sink. Cried out, "Lord, save me." Immediately Jesus reached out his hand and caught him. "You of little faith," he said, "why did you doubt?" And when they climbed into the boat, the wind died down. Those that were in the boat worshiped him, saying, "Truly you are the Son of God." Super religious Peter just was there with Christ, feeding 5,000, saw a bunch of miracles, saw him healing people, didn't even believe that it was Jesus walking on the water. He thought it was a ghost. And when Jesus was out on the water, he's like, "I still don't believe you. Call me out onto the water so that I know that it's you." And he did that. And then he still fell into the water. "Ye of little faith, why did you doubt?" I think it's interesting that they worshiped him after the thing that happened. So everybody's in the boat and everybody's safe, and then they're like, "You truly are the Son of God," because they were able to see, yet again, that he truly was the Son of God. So is seeing believing? Do we need evidence? Tangible, physical evidence in order to ground ourselves in the person of God and Jesus? Look, we're not unlike the disciples. It's super easy to doubt, get distracted, and forget. Okay, so finally you're like, "All right, cool, Ian, I feel really horrible right now. That's okay. That's what I meant." Why do we doubt then? Well, let's go back to Polar Express and try and figure it out. Perhaps that says it all. I'm the king of this train. I'm the king of the North Pole. I have a firm grasp on the wheel. I'm the one in charge. I'm the king of my life. I'm the one that makes the decisions. I can depend on me. I want to believe, but you don't want to be bamboozled, conned, duped, hoodwinked. Yeah, that's it. I don't want to feel like a fool. I want this thing to be true, right? I want to believe. I want to ground myself in faith, and I have the best intentions, but I really just don't want to be fooled at the end of the day. I think that that is true of all of us, regardless of where we are in our faith walk, whether we believe that we are new or super religious or wherever you want to put yourself on that spectrum. I believe that that's innate in all of us, that we don't want to be fooled. We don't want to feel isolated. Let's pick back up our story where I started us, all the way at the beginning. After hitting the glacier gulch, that was the thing that you saw up at the beginning, losing the tracks, nearly falling through the ice, the train gets back on the track, and the conductor says something very profound. Sometimes the most real things in this world are the things that we can't see. What's he mean by that? Our faith, God, love, generosity, time well spent. Those are the things that we all chase for. Those are the things that we can't tangibly see. I can't put a box around love necessarily. Trust me, I've tried. I've done all the things, bought all the diamonds, done all the things. You cannot do it. Sometimes the most powerful things, most influential things in this world are things that we cannot see. If we fast forward a little bit in the movie, our friends arrive at the North Pole. You just got to give it to me. Okay, they're on a magic train. If that doesn't freak you out at first, I mean, I don't know what does, but they're on a magic train. And once they get to the North Pole, they see elves everywhere. Okay? There's elves, and they're doing backflips. I'm not going to do a backflip, I promise. Look, I'm breakable, people. It's not happening. They see elves doing backflips, and then 3 of our main characters go on this side adventure, if you remember this, right? Our 3 main characters, the hero boy, the girl, and this tiny little guy, right? He was like an outcast, essentially, and almost didn't get on the train. They had to stop the train and get it back on. I'm catching you way back up with the movie. This is me getting you caught up with the movie. All right. And the small boy says something that's very, I think, poignant, right? So he says that Christmas just doesn't work out for me. Is that you right now? Are you looking at the holiday season, Christmas season, more importantly, and thinking, you know what? Life isn't really working out. Or maybe this whole God thing isn't really working out for you. You've tried, maybe this is second, third, fourth time around. I don't know what it is for you. I've tried the whole God thing. It's just not working out. If God was real and he was loving, why in the world would this mess be here? They find their way back into Santa's sack thanks to the little girl who is following the sound of a bell no one can hear. Remember the bell, everyone? Yeah? For some reason, you can't hear the bell ringing. And I could spend another 20 minutes talking about the significance of the bell. I will not. But no one can hear it ringing, or he, our hero boy, cannot specifically hear it ringing. I think that's really important. So our lead character even sees reindeer, but can't hear the bells ringing. The girl says, aren't those bells the most beautiful sound? And he still can't hear them ringing the entire time. The ringing of the bells means to me, and I'll just encapsulate it very, very quickly, is the message of Christ, the message of God, the message of love that he brings into the world. I think that's the parallel that I would draw. I don't know what parallel you might, but that is, for me, exactly what this is. It's all around me. All the evidence is there. The elves are flipping. People's lives are changed. Reindeer are dancing. But I can't personally hear the message of God. That's frustrating because I'm doing the thing, right? Like I'm doing the thing, God. I'm doing the dance. Why can't I hear and make it personal? Why can't I feel God's presence in my life? Maybe that's you too. Everyone around you is pointing to God. You see the traces, but you can't see him. Seeing the elves, the reindeer, magic trains, a ghost hobo didn't get him to believe. He had to make an internal commitment, a statement from his heart, in order to see and hear the bell ring, to hear the message, to see Santa Claus, to see God, I would say. I believe that it was only through the perils of the journey and the events leading up that brought him to a place where he could personally make that commitment. Our out-of-control, skidding on thin ice lives are the path that brings us to the place where we ourselves can make that commitment. Those that hear the bells around us are pointing the right way along that journey. We need to make that internal commitment. We have to understand that our journey is bringing us to a place that we can make that commitment each and every day. Our beliefs and our focus matter. Where are your beliefs and your focus this Christmas season? One of the continuing themes throughout this movie is also the tickets. Okay? I could spend, again, another 30 minutes just decrypting what I believe to be the message around the tickets. I will just say this. The tickets are a gift from the very beginning. They are shocked that they have these tickets. They lose their ticket, but their ticket never loses them. You remember the whole scene where the ticket flies out and, like, it rolls down the hill and, like, birds carry it and wolves carry it and all sorts of crazy things? We sometimes lose our ticket, but our ticket never loses us. Okay? At the end of this movie, the conductor reveals their gifts. And this will be the last one that I'll show you, okay? Because I think that this is really important. The band's coming right back up. As they do, I want to close with this. Our tickets are exactly what he just said. I can carry things and talk at the same time, I swear. Learn. We need to be constantly seeking to know our God and learn more about him. Depend, count on our reliance when Glacier Gulch or crazy lives impound or come down on us. Our reliance has to be on those around us and our God, not ourselves. Lead. We've been called by the Great Commission to lead others to Christ. Are you doing that today? Are you showing the way? Are you hearing the bells and pointing people to the right space, the right path? And believe. I would say this in this season. Believe that you're chosen. You, each one of you, is uniquely chosen. And that Christ is your personal Savior. He's gone out of his way to sacrifice himself. And this season should remind you of the gift that he has for you. Just you, personally. But I think that it all starts with a conscious decision to step on the train. We can look at a magic train in our front yard. We can look at the things that are happening within our lives and just go, it's not a magic train. I'm not going to get on the train. That seems inconvenient. I don't want to do that. We have to make the choice to get on the train. We have to make the choice to follow after God. I want it to be real. Let's make it real. You guys lead us.